Coming up on the sports news, we're going to go inside the cage with Chosen Few. We'll also take to the course with Stoughton Cross Country and a lot more, but the headlines are up next, and they are powered by the Red Zone on Regent Street and Conant Automotive in Stoughton. Your headlines next on the sports news. Welcome on into the sports news, your 30-minute look into the tackles, hits, checks, and dunks that make up the local sports scene. I'm your host, Rich Reynolds, and let's hit the ground running. Going into Saturday's matchup in the Big House, the Wisconsin Badgers were down one of their star players, linebacker Vince Beagle, who will most likely miss another month with a leg injury. However, it wasn't Bucky's defense that struggled against the fourth-ranked Michigan Wolverines. No, that was the offense. Wisconsin failed to execute on the ground or through the air as Alex Hornibrook threw 3 interceptions en route to a 14-7 loss to Michigan. The setback dropped Wisconsin to 4-1 on the season and temporarily out of the top 10 in the rankings. After a bye week, Wisconsin will be able to jump back into the top 10 as they will host number 2 Ohio State. Now on the prep scene, after a few years of setbacks against Lodi, the Columbus Cardinals exercised their demons and Blue Devils by beating Lodi 21-17 on homecoming night to remain undefeated. Columbus trailed 17-7 at the half before netting 2 fourth-quarter touchdowns, both 1-yard runs, to beat Lodi for the first time since 2004. Other scores from Friday night, we start in the Big 8 with a shocker. Madison La Follette edged Middleton 13-12. Also in the Big 8, it was Janesville Parker over Beloit Memorial 40-14. Craig over Madison Memorial 21-14. Sun Prairie blanked Madison West 36-0. And Verona Cruz 35-12 over Madison East. Winners in the Badger North and South were Reedsburg, DeForest, Waunakee, Stoughton, Monroe, Mount Horr, Barneveld. You saw that right here on Channel 57. And in a barn burner, Monona Grove 57, Fort Atkinson 56. And a celebration for our very own Mark Martinez, who not only provides the color for our A1 Furniture High School Bowl Series, but is also the head coach of Madison Abundant Life as they continued their undefeated season in 8-man and captured the Great 8 South Conference, defeating Wisconsin Heights 42-24 on Saturday. Now next up for Mark and I, we will be in Stoughton as the Vikings host the Monroe Cheesemakers this weekend on Wisconsin's 57 Sports. Well, we are still over a week away before the Madison Capitals take to home ice at the Coliseum, but the Caps have opened the season on the road, and after a loss to Green Bay, the Caps turned in their first win of the new season with a 4-0 shutout at Omaha. Daniel Lebedev earned the shutout win, stopping all 32 shots that he faced. And in the cage at the Monona Terrace on Saturday night, the Chosen Few Fighting Championships number 9 played out in front of a raucous, sold-out crowd. Now we're going to chat with Josh Sterry from Chosen Few, along with a few of the winners from Saturday night in just a few minutes. Now, in case you couldn't get into the show, hey, no worries. We will have the replay of all 10 matches this weekend on Wisconsin's 57 Sports. Well, for more information on all the 411 on our headlines, check out these fine websites. Stick around, interviews are next on the sports news here on Wisconsin's 57 Sports. Whenever we do the headlines here on the sports news, we talk about hitting the ground running. That's just a figure of speech. When you're talking about cross country, they literally hit the ground running. We bring in Susan Zamish now and Pat Schneider. They are the head coaches over at Stoughton Cross Country. And guys, thanks for coming in, first of all. And why don't we get into your season so far? What have the highlights been?
Well, so far this year, our team has done quite well. We've had a variety of kids medal in different races. We are looking forward to conference coming up here soon. Both of our teams, both girls and guys, are looking to contend for the top of the Badger South Conference. And we also are hoping to have a shot at getting some individuals and perhaps a team through to the state meet.
Down in Stoughton, you guys have such great sports programs. And if we're going to compare, though, your cross-country program compared to other cross-country programs around the area, what makes yours different?
That's a great question. I think that one thing that sets us apart is our strength and conditioning program that we have. We have Coach England down there that designs strength and conditioning workouts, especially for cross-country runners, that allows us to be more powerful on the course. I also think we have an advantage of having the head wrestling coach as one of our assistant coaches, Coach Empey, and we get a lot more wrestlers in our program than maybe some other programs, and some of those wrestlers know how to compete at the top level, and that's what makes it a little bit different.
I think what also makes it a little bit different is that you guys do some team building stuff, and you know, not a lot of people will necessarily equate cross country with an actual team sport, but there's a real team component that goes into it. So what are some of the team building exercises that you do?
Oh, we do all sorts of stuff. I think actually we're one of the more social teams that's out there. We have team dinners before every meet. We take kids to different locations for running. Let's see, what else?
We went to Noah's Ark this summer.
We went to Noah's Ark this summer. That was good.
And a favorite workout is a scavenger hunt workout that the kids do together. So
yeah, it's almost like a giant family, I think.
Excellent. And so so much training goes into it. Definitely a very hard and physical sport. But when we're talking about workouts, what are some of the more challenging workouts that your runners complete?
One of the ones that we did this year that was new to our program was the 200 workout, where we gave each individual kid a split to hit for the 200 and then the recovery. And they had to do as many as they could until they could no longer hit that split. Our top varsity boy went through 18 of those 200s, and
Wow.
the top girls got through 14 of those 200s.
Wow, impressive. So I think people always want to know too, if you join cross country, how many miles are you putting in a given week?
Whew, a lot. Kind of depends on if you're JV or varsity. I would say probably our top varsity kids would hit between 40 and 45 miles a week at the peak, and then our JV kids are probably between 25 and 35, depending on who the kid is. So we run a lot.
Lots of running, great way to stay in shape. Good luck the rest of the way. Susan and Pat, thanks for being here.
Thanks
Thank
so
you.
much.
Brought to you by Conan Automotive, taking care of you by taking care of your family's car. Madison still buzzing from the Chosen Few Fighting Championships #9 that took place over this past weekend at the Monona Terrace Convention Center. What a show and what a great night. It was a night of champions and a lot of good action, and we're going to catch up with the guys in the cage right now. We got Josh Sterry, Mark Lemminger, Alex Gilpin, all big part of the show. Guys, welcome on in, and Josh, we start with you. Packed house last night. The crowd was going absolutely nuts. How have you been able to grow the sport so well here in Madison?
To be honest with you, I think the venue change for us to Monona Terrace has been a huge part of our success. Obviously, the fighters that we put on the card that put everything on the line and come out there and put on a great show, sell the tickets, bring their fans, bring their family. That's a huge part of our success and why we continue to grow.
I think you definitely bring in some really skilled, talented fighters as well. A lot of action. What can people expect to see when they're watching the replay this weekend on Channel 57?
You're going to see energy. The crowd is electric. The fighters came out and put on an awesome show. We had 3 amateur title fights, so we have 3 new champions now. James Clark is our 145-pound champion. We have Ben Ross, who is our 170-pound champion, and we have Alton Cunningham, who is our 185-pound champion. That all led up to our professional card, which these 2 gentlemen in front of me here actually came and put on an amazing show. Mark was the main event, came out with a first-round finish, TKO, and Alex as well also had a first-round TKO finish.
Yeah, Alex, talk about your fight. You kind of kicked off the pro card side of it with the 3 pro fights. Talk about your fight. I mean, you ended it quickly. You looked really good in there. Tell us what people can expect to see this weekend.
Yeah, man, thank you. I appreciate that. I fought a pretty tough veteran, 30-fight veteran. He was on a 5-fight win streak coming into the fight, so I knew he was pretty tough. I just felt I was a little better in every aspect of the game, and I really got it done on my feet, which I hadn't done in my previous fights, which I really wanted to show, so felt pretty good, and all the other fights as well were real exciting. You'll see some exciting finishes and things like that. So.
And Mark, in your pro career, talk about your fight a little bit. You're 4-0 now. You were on your guy. I mean, from the beginning, absolutely suffocating performance as you were able to win in the first round. Talk about that fight if you could.
Yeah. My opponent was a little taller than me, so I knew I had to really pressure him and get inside on him and stay inside on him. So I was feeling it out a little at the beginning. I ended up taking a leg kick. I was trying to feel out the range, and second leg kick, I caught it, took him down, and I stayed on him after that. And I didn't want to give him a chance to improve his position at all, and I kept the pressure on, and I got the W.
It was a great win. We got about 20 seconds. Josh, if you could quickly tell us what's next for Chosen Few and what's next for these two guys.
Yeah, you guys were super excited. January 14th is our next card at Monona Terrace. These two gentlemen here are actually fighting for our first professional titles. Alex will be fighting for the 145-pound title. Mark will be fighting for the 170-pound title. They both have amateur titles, but this is our first, our promotion's first professional title, so we're very, very excited about that.
As well you should be. Hopefully everybody can check it out. Check it out this weekend, Chosen Few Fighting Championships #9, right here on Wisconsin's 57 Sports. Gentlemen, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
A special thank you to Conan Automotive in Stoughton for supporting local athletics. We turn our attention to soccer now as we bring in Aaron Ziegler with McFarland Boys Soccer. And Coach, thanks for being here. Let's talk about a little bit how the season has gone so far for the Spartans.
So far, we've had a really good season, a couple ups and downs. We'd scheduled a few D1 opponents compared to our D3 opponents. We just had a tough game against Madison East last Monday that we lost. But we're trying to schedule bigger games to make our players used to the tougher, bigger schools for the postseason.
And how have you been doing in conference so far?
Conference, we had our first game this week, and we beat Evansville 3-1. And they're usually one of the competitors for the title, so it's good to see that we could take care of them this coming week. We had Bigfoot, who is another tough game, so I want to take them out too.
Yeah, the Evansville game, a good result for you guys. Talk about, if you could, some of the key players on your team, seniors and stuff, that kind of makes up what you're going for.
Yeah, Nick Hildebrandt is our captain, one of our captains. He can play any position on the field. He can get it done on defense and offense. We have two other seniors, the Sunday twins, Chase and Alex. They control the outside midfield, and they control the tempo of the game for our team. And we have Adam Lalazerne in the back, who is a senior, and he takes care of everything in the back. And we have one sophomore, Caleb Blair, who controls our midfield in the central position, who can attack or defend anybody that we've ever come across.
You mentioned the upcoming game against Bigfoot. What are some other upcoming matches that are going to be key for your conference
season?
Season?
For our conference game, that'd be Bigfoot's big, and we also have Evansville we beat, but we have a new system where we're going to have a playoff that we're looking forward to at the end of our conference instead of playing each team twice. So we'll get to see those guys again that we're looking forward to playing at the end of the season right before playoff time.
Speaking of playoffs, you know, always good to look ahead as well to the postseason and what's coming up. Where do you think you all are going to fit in there, and what's your outlook for the upcoming postseason?
We look to make another deep run. Last year we made it to the sectional final game, one game away from state, and had an unfortunate loss to Mount Horeb. We love to see Mount Horeb again and play them again, or anyone else. That's why we're playing big teams like Sun Prairie and DeForest, bigger schools like that, to get prepared for that.
Now the program as a whole and kids that wanted to play soccer, how is that looking? You know, how's the pipeline coming in, and what kind of excitement do you have for soccer in McFarland?
Pipeline is looking great. This year we had half our program is almost freshmen. Wow. And we have about 3 freshmen who start now in varsity, so the pipeline's looking great. Our JV team is full of great talent too that's coming down the pipe. They're all freshmen and sophomores.
Good stuff, Coach. Yeah, we appreciate you being here. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
All right, let's talk about something near and dear to my heart, and that's radio, and of course, The Zone in Madison, 106.7 FM, 1670 AM, and they got what I think is probably the best local show going right now, and that's the Joe and Evo Show. Let's bring in Joe Miller, and I'm only saying that, Joe, that I think it's the best because, you know, I'm doing a fluff piece here. And
okay.
So, you know, I want to be able to build.
I'll take all the compliments I can get. Keep them coming.
So let's talk about the Joe and Evo Show. What is the Joe and Evo Show? If you had to sum it up a little bit, what do you tell people it is?
Yeah, it's just, you know, it's not your father's radio, I guess is what you'd say. I mean, we certainly have our pillars, right? Packers, Badgers, Brewers, Bucks, and we certainly, you know, football season's here. We spend a great deal of time on Packers, Badgers, but you know, we try and do a little bit, you know, outside the box, think, and kind of push the envelope a little, you know, put a little different spin, maybe a little bit of a sarcastic, slapstick. You know, look at the day in sports. And it's not just sports, you know, we do a lot of pop culture and, you know, movies and rock and roll and just kind of not taking ourselves and, you know, the sports talk game so seriously, I think.
Yeah, and it's kind of propped up to as kind of being a wise guy and a wise you know.
Well, I didn't know. I was going to say that, Rich. I don't know what the rules are.
Well,
here
yeah,
at
I'm not
CW,
going to use the word. I'm not going to actually use it.
I don't want to get you in trouble.
But I think everybody gets it. You're the wise guy, and I think you're the wise guy of it because the whole betting aspect of it too. You guys talk a lot about that. So talk about it. Your parlay card and all that kind of stuff you got going.
Yeah, I mean, it's out there, right? And you know, good or bad, sports gambling, and you know, whether people you're watching home, you don't realize this. Yes, fantasy football is technically gambling, and if you fill out a square on a Sunday night Packer game, so we just, we kind of have made it our shtick. And actually, the Joe An Evo Show was born from something called the Action Zone. It was a show I hosted a couple of years ago, just a one day of the week, just basically talking sports gambling. And it kind of got a cult following, and then it grew into, that what we're doing now on the Joe An Evo Show. We do the daily Action Zone every day at 8:50, so we always give you a free pick. You mentioned Joe's parlay card. We've got some great sponsors for that. You go to our website, madcitysportszone.com. You fill that out every week. Runs through football, through college basketball and NBA season. Pick the top games. You can win some great prizes. We got a fantasy football league this year that's been insanely popular. So we're having a lot of fun with weekly, and then we have a season contest as well. So. Yeah, just, if you put it this way, Rich, if you want to gamble on it, listen to the show. I will find a way to make a bet on it.
Sounds like a good bet. And we got about 20 seconds. Quickly, you guys also talk a lot of Packers. Who's the Packer you have on this year that you talked to?
Yeah, so it's Tundra Talk. It's a Packers inside linebacker, Blake Martinez. It's every Tuesday through Friday. During the show, we run it right at 10 o'clock. And he is, I'll tell you what, Stanford educated. He's so down to earth, such a cool dude. And we've been having a lot of fun with Blake, and gives us real behind-the-scenes access, kind of pull the curtain back on the Packers. So yeah, Tuesday, Friday at 10 during our show.
It's good stuff. Joe An Evo, check him out on The Zone. And Joe, thanks for being here, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Hey, we're finally getting out of the hot summer months. It's going to feel like more ice arena time. If you could tell us a little bit about what's going on over there for the fall and winter season.
Well, thanks for having me back. I feel like it's been like a year since I've been on camera again. Let's see, so at the arena, we've made a ton of changes this summer. We worked really hard to make the place clean. I mean, it's pretty. We repainted everything. A lot of exciting stuff going on there. So, coming this fall, we have a lot of programs starting, like our Learn to Skate's a really big program for us. Happens every Wednesday night at 5:30. So if you want to learn to skate, that's a great place to do it. More fall stuff. We kicked off the Whalers season this last Friday night. They lost to La Crosse, unfortunately, 7-5, but still an exciting game. I think we hit about 275 people. So that's, the kind of the buzz is starting to build a little bit. They have another game, I believe, on November 4th, somewhere in there. So as far as like winter programming, we're pretty much sold out. Like we added, what do we have this year? Like 6 or 7 tournaments that people are starting to sign up for, and we're looking forward to a really busy year.
Always a fight for ice time, which is always good stuff. And so, when you got changes going on at the arena too, you got some of those, including new setup for the grill, right?
Yeah, so I've been working hard on this one. So, you go to pretty much every ice arena, and what can you buy? You can buy popcorn and hot dogs, which is fine, but we wanted to add a little element. So we put in a full-on grill. So we have a hood system, grill, fryers, hired a food manager, you'll say, kind of a chef. So we're going to start doing catering for all of our own birthday parties and corporate events. We can do all of our own food, and I'm not just talking hamburgers and hot dogs, like chicken Caesar salads and definitely the cheese curds, because that's what everybody likes. But I think it's a cool addition, and besides Sun Prairie that has their, Sun Prairie has Willie Ties, which is a really good restaurant out there. Other than that, we're the only ones. So now when people come to Oregon, they're going to know that they can get good food. Absolutely, and always good for people to know that. And it's going to bring people in. It's bringing people in. You got a new person on promotions, don't you? Yeah, so On Ice Promotions is, we're a pretty wide range company, but like our primary focus is skill development at this point. We just brought a guy on, his name is Dane Litke. He played for North Dakota, and sorry Badger fans, but he played for North Dakota in '97, won the national championship there, has coached USHL, college hockey, all the junior hockey, promoted a ton of kids to, from junior hockey into college, D1, and he's coming on as our new skill development director, and we're starting to figure out programming and whatnot for him this fall and winter. Starting a breakfast club, so kids can come in, skate before school, get their training in, have something to eat, and go to school. I think just the addition of having him, You know, Larry's my partner on ice, and goalie-wise, he's the best in the Midwest. Like, there's hands down. Myself, I'm marketing, and that's why I'm on TV right now. But bringing him on, like, he's a total professional. His drills are better than anything I've ever seen before. And the kids that have skated with him so far, like, the parents just rave about what their kids are. You know, they come home, they talk about it, and everybody's pretty excited to have him on board.
All good stuff, Ben. Thanks for joining us.
Yep, appreciate it.
Brought to you by Conan Automotive, taking care of you by taking care of your family's car. I think one of the really cool things about our station is that we can provide so much, like different kinds of options and programming here, including a lot of different local shows. And one of those really cool local shows is called Outdoor Junkies TV that you can see right here on Saturdays and Sundays on Channel 57. To that end, we bring in the executive producer of the program, Brian Wickersham. And Brian, thanks for being here. And if you could talk a little bit for people that haven't seen the show, what is Outdoor Junkies TV about?
Hi, thanks for having me. Outdoor Junkies is about guys from the Midwest and Wisconsin who are basically addicted to the outdoors, from everything from hunting to fishing throughout all the seasons. We try and go after it, whatever we can get our hands on.
And Wisconsin's such a great state for being addicted to the outdoors. So much to do, a beautiful place to be. And how long have you been doing the show then?
We've been doing it for 8 seasons, and right now we are currently airing on the CW as well as nationally on the Hunt Channel.
Excellent. And so as far as this season goes, what can we expect to see for the rest of this season?
Well, recently we just filmed a group of wounded veterans on a bow hunt in northern Shawano County and had a great hunt with that. And we also have charter fishing on the Great Lakes with Wolfpack Adventures, the youth hunts that are coming up soon. So we have really great episodes coming up.
Yeah, you talk about some of those hunts, and you recently filmed those. What are some other hunts that you might have planned?
Well, we've, like I was mentioning, the youth hunt, that's coming up in the next couple weeks in Wisconsin. That'll be the second weekend of October. And we will also be kicking into archery season. And then the whitetail gun season for Wisconsin.
Always big, yeah. And now, how about fishing too? Because you guys cover that. How about some fishing trips that you got planned out?
Yeah, we'll be hunting we'll be fishing the Wisconsin and also the Milwaukee River for salmon. The salmon run comes in out of the Great Lakes, and we'll probably go up to Sheboygan as well and fish out of that area.
Excellent, yeah, and always a beautiful place to go fishing and, whatever in the Sheboygan area and right on Lake Michigan there as well, so also very cool. So if you could, tell us a little bit too, what is Weekends in the Wild?
Weekends in the Wild is a new program that we developed to bring to the Channel 57 that is basically outdoor programming that's geared around the Wisconsin area from local producers, and we're just hoping to build that block of programming and let it grow into possibly a 2-hour-long block.
We'll look forward to it. It's always very cool to kind of see that in the morning on a Saturday and Sunday when you're just kind of easing into your weekend and watching that stuff. It's always beautiful stuff. Brian, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Brought to you by Conan Automotive, taking care of you by taking care of your family's car. Big thank you to our guests that helped make the show possible, and of course all the sponsors. A special thank you as well to the Red Zone on Regent Street. Rick and all the boys, check them out online at redzonemadison.com, and Conan Automotive in Stoughton that's been helping to keep prep sports on the air for a long time around here. We also thank you for watching. We'll see you next time on the Sports News on Wisconsin's 57 Sports.